guys, and happy Friday! All right, today we went and started off with a game. We played musical chairs multiplication. So this activity is in your seesaw. If you go down here to musical chair right here. So let me start a new one so we can talk about these. So this first one is 22 times 8. Let me pull up my whiteboard. 22 times 8. All right, so 22 times 8. So you can break down this 22 into 20 plus 2 times 8. And when you make your boxes, you should have it set up like this where you've broken down that 22. Then we're going to go here. We're going to multiply the 20 times 8. 2 times 8 is 16 with 1 0, so 160. And then 8 times 2 is 16. When you add those together, 160 and 16, you get 176. Then on this next one, 18 times 42, 18 times 42. Now we have two digits that need to be broken down. So I'm going to break down the 18 into 10 plus 8. And then I'm going to make a little bit bigger of a box because I've also got the 40 plus the 2. Make those lines where those plus signs are. Here I'm doing 40 times 10, so 4 times 1 is 4 with 2 zeros. Here I'm doing 40 times 8, 8 times 4 is 32 with 1 0. 10 times 2 is 20, and 8 times 2 is 16. When I add these up, the 4 and the 3, that gives me 720 with those two top ones. And then I'm going to go ahead and combine the bottom. That would be 36. And I add that together, I get 756. So that was just straight multiplication, easy peasy. Now, the word problems, let's see here. So it says, Mr. Ramirez packs 35 boxes with oranges. Each box holds 100 oranges. How many oranges can Mr. Ramirez pack into these boxes? So 35 and 100. So let me clear this out. So if you have 35 boxes, and there's in each box, so let's say here's one box, there's 100 of these oranges inside that one box. Well, if I have 35 of these boxes, I'm going to have to take that, and I could do 100 plus 100 plus 100 plus 100 35 times, or I could just multiply 35 times 100. When I do this, I'm going to take my 35 times 1, which is just 35, and I'm just going to add those two extra zeros. So 3,500. On this next one, you have a basketball team and they're playing 82 games each year. How many games will the team play in 24 years? So again, 1 year has 82 games. So every year I play 82 games. Next year, 82 games. Next year, 82 games. Next year, and so on and so on and so on. So instead of adding up all those 82s, I'm just going to do 82 times 24. So that looks like this, 82 times 24. So 82 breaks down into 80 plus 2. So I'm putting that in expanded form. Then I'm going to make my box. And over here on the side, the 24 breaks down into 20 plus 4. In this top left, I'm doing 8 times 2, which is 16, and then add my 2 zeros. In the box on the top right, I'm doing 20 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4 with the 1 0. In the bottom left, 8 times 4 is 32 with the 1 0. And down here on the bottom right, 4 times 2 is 8. So I've got 1600. I'm going to combine the 320, or I'm just going to put 320 and then I'm going to combine the 48. The less things, if I can combine it easily, the less things I've got adding here, the better. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 1. So 1,968. Then next one, David got a job washing dogs at a veterinarian's office. He washes about 32 dogs each week. So far this year, he's worked 44 weeks. What's the best estimate of the number of dogs David has washed since he started his job? So it's not asking, it's not asking the exact number. It's asking for an estimate. So about how much? Well, if we take these numbers 32 and 44, and we find, let's see, 32, if we think about 32, if I were to round that, that rounds to 30, and 44 rounds to 40. Okay, remember, you take the number. So if we round this to the nearest tens, we're going to put a box around here. We're going to look to the right. If this number right here is 5 or more, we're going to raise it, and it would be raise it up to 40. But if it's 4 or less, like this one, we're going to let it rest, and so the 3 stays the same. So then that's where we get this 30. So all of that, let me tick off here. All right, so these are going to be our new, oops, I didn't want to do that. These are going to be our new numbers that we're going to work with. So let's go back to the problem and let's see what we're doing with those. So it says he washes, so we're talking about he washes about 30 dogs a week, and he's worked about 40 weeks. So in order to know how many dogs he's washed, same thing like we talked about before, instead of adding 30 and 30 and 30 and 30 and 30 40 times, we can just multiply this out. So we're going to do 30 times 40, and 3 times 4 is 12. 1 0, 2 zeros, add those in, and you get 1,200. Then on this last one, all right, so it says Kelly has 28 rolls of ribbon, and each one is 36 yards long. How many yards of ribbon does she have in all? So if you've gone to the store and you see those, if you buy ribbon or anything like that, when you pull it out, you can, it says, okay, this is, such and such long. And so they've pulled out and they've measured, okay, this one roll is 36 yards, but they've got 28 of those rolls. So every time they roll it out, 36 yards. Next one, 36 yards. Next one, 36 yards. So again, we can multiply to find out how many yards we have in all. So 28 times 36. And so we're going to break those down. So 28 is the same as 20 plus 8, because again, when I add those up, I get my 28. And this 30, the 3 stands for 30, and then 6. Now here, I'm going to multiply. 2 times 3 is 6 with the 2 zeros. 8 times 3 is 24 with the 1 0. 2 times 6 is 12 with the 1 0. And 8 times 6 is 48. I'm going to add all this up. I'm going to combine my 2 here, so that would be 8, 40, 120, and 48. 8, 8, 9, 10, 8, 9, 10. So 1,008 for that one. All right. So these were the problems that we were working with our game Musical Chairs today. So we had fun playing that, and we finally broke the girls were victorious. So if you missed it, the girls took the lead. We were tied, and they at the very last question they pulled through. So everybody did a really good job as we were reviewing. So we played that, and then for reading today, we read our chapters 27 through 31, and then we had our author visit today. So we had a super fun time watching and meeting Aaron Reynolds, and he was talking about, he's the author of about 46, he's got about 46 published books, and he is hilarious. So we had a super fun time watching him, and he was cracking everybody up, and he was telling us he had some really cool lessons about just, he told us that he had over 300 something letters when he was sending in book ideas and book ideas to all these publishers, and he was just getting refusal after refusal after refusal. And finally someone said, yes, okay, we like your stuff. And it was just talking about, he could have given up after that first denial. He could have given up after 50. He could have given up after 300, but he kept going and he kept going. And he was like, no, this is what I'm passionate about. Let me work to get better. And then finally now he is a, New York Times bestselling author. So he is amazing and hilarious. And so that was a really cool experience that we got to have today. So hopefully you got to watch that. And if not, go check out his books. They are hilarious, just like he is, and his humor comes out in his writing. So if you didn't get a chance to hear him, you can at least read his work, and you can laugh along with him just as much. So we read our chapters, we did that, and then we finished up section 3 for Crenshaw. And so we were talking about, let's see, section 3. Let me just open this. All right, so we were talking about these last 2 pages. So the first one was the onomatopoeia. And so we were talking about, what were these sounds? So the tap, tap, tap. That was, and I'm saying it wrong, but it was Robin doing the wheels on the bus when she was knocking on Jackson's door. And so we were talking about, why did the author not just say Robin knocked on Jackson's door? Why did they tell us about the wheels on the bus, and why did they add that onomatopoeia? And so some of the things that were said was that it really kind of just it pulls you in, so it kind of lets you, it's like you're there, like you're hearing it. And then we also talked about how, the part with the wheels on the bus, how it's really showing kind of Robin's vulnerability and her age, and she's young, and young children are the ones that are usually tied to that song. And here she is, even though she's young, she's figured all this stuff out about her family and their situation, and she's turning to her big brother kind of to get some comfort, because she's sad and she's upset about selling all her things. The BAM at the end of chapter 18, this had to do with it was talking about whenever they became homeless, it kind of was like bam, it just happened. It wasn't like you saw it coming, it just kind of bam, it happened. And then the tap, tap, tap was the part in the end of chapter 23 where their family is talking. It's during that flashback, and their family is talking to a police officer, and he's giving them some, here's some places you could go, some shelters, and he's sitting there telling them. And dad isn't too happy about it because, number one, he doesn't like handouts. And number two, he would have to be separated from the mom and the kids, and then the no dog situation and all that. So the police officer, I think he realizes, okay, these are good, really good people. They're just, having hard times, and he feels kind of not obligated, but he wants to help them. And so he calls Jackson back over, and he gives him that $20 bill. Well, Jackson is told, you need to wait in order, don't give this to your dad right away. You need to wait. And he says, why? And he says, because, the dad doesn't, he knows that he's a proud man and he doesn't want any handouts and stuff like that. So he's like, just trust me, like he'll hand it right back to me. So Jackson gives it to him once they're, going down the road. And his dad, at first Jackson thinks his dad's going to yell at him. And he just kind of taps his finger on that steering wheel. And we talked about how he was kind of, working through like, okay, I do need to accept help. I do, I need to get over this, like where nobody can help me type of thing. I need to ask for help, and I need to accept help. So I think dad kind of has a moment of like clarity there where he's like, you know what? Okay. And then that's when he says, okay, well, I guess dinner's on me. And so we talked about that. And then on page 7, idioms. So these are expressions, and they're not literal. So when it says looking on the bright side, or dinner's on me, or Robin was getting stir crazy, they don't actually mean like dinner's actually on top of me. It has an alternative meaning. So looking on the bright side, we said we're just, thinking about the positive. Dinner's on me means I'm paying. Robin, when she's going stir crazy, she can't sit still. She's moving around a lot. And so these are fun to draw. So if you say dinner's on me, you could draw, pancakes on your head, or spaghetti meatballs on your lap, or, whatever. So dinner's on me, looking on the bright side, and then Robin going stir crazy. So you can choose one of those to add in. And then I've got, look at all these ones that are drafted. All of those can be turned in. So we finished that. So that needs to be, oh no, you know what? I'm sorry. I did say to draft. That's right. I take that back, because we had kind of gotten cutoffs with lunch. So I did say draft. So we will get that in on Monday. So ignore what I just said. All right. So after that, that was when that we had stopped because it was lunchtime because of the author visit. We did daily language review later on in the day, just independently. Once we had finished science and social studies. So for science, all we did was finish our test. So this science assignment down here, it's a ways down because we've been working on it for a couple weeks. So this 33 and 34, this needs to be turned in. So we just finished those last 3 pages where the test part was. And so turn that in when you're done. And then social studies was just finishing up this right here, week 34 social studies. So we were just finishing up this assignment, and I've explained this assignment a couple times throughout this week. So I'm not going to go over that again, but make sure you go through, and each page that needed something written on it, there was, the part about the flag, the part about the Alamo, the part about the different regions and things like that. Make sure each part is done before you submit that. And let's do some more confetti. And there's a Fun Friday thing up here. So if you didn't get to do the Fun Friday activity, it's here for you once you get that work in. And then some of this other stuff is for next week. So if I haven't talked about it, or if it's not on the agenda, just skip it and it'll be coming up. But on here, let's talk about real quick before I let you go. Let's talk about things that can be done. So Fun Friday, that was that I just talked about. This will be next week. That will finish. If you're finished with not Seesaw. If you're finished with Crenshaw, go ahead and turn that in. The star things here, this will be for next week. Poetry, we're done with that. Nonfiction, we're done with this. Mother's Day, make sure if you wanted to do this, go ahead and make something for your mom. Multiplication review, we're done with that. Social studies, done with that. Are you smarter than a 4th grader? Done with that. Daily writing, we're done with that. We did that Friday page by ourselves. And then reading, week 34. We never got to the last couple pages about the paired passage. So I said you can either just delete that or just send it in. That's fine. But that was the reading part. We're done with that. We did the musical chairs today. We're done with that. Data analysis, if you have corrections to make sure you get that in. Crenshaw 1 and 2, we're done with those. Science, we're done with that. Measurement test, that correction should be done on that. SLO, that's done. go back and make sure these things are in the grade book, so make sure you're getting these things done. Animal adaptations, that was a while ago. All of the Fudgemania, plant adaptations, all of these things, everything below that is all completed. So the only things that should be in your seesaw are the week 35, 36, and 37. This is a social studies project that we'll be doing for the remainder of the year, and the STAR. And if you're still working on Crenshaw, that's fine. We'll turn that in Monday, but everything else should be cleared out. Then in Google Classroom, under classwork, everything, if you start at week 27, everything should be grayed out. There should be no green clipboard. So all of 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. Everything should be grayed out. So if you have anything remaining in there, go ahead, make sure you have it completed. And not just completed, but make sure you go and you check your grade for all these, because if you look at the calendar, today's the 7th. Next week in 7 days on the 14th, that's when every single grade is due. So please make sure that you're going back and getting things corrected and completed, so we can finish the year off strong. So there's some more confetti. Have a wonderful weekend. Celebrate those mamas and give them and show them some extra love this weekend, and really make sure that you're on your best behavior and helping around at the house, and tell them how much we appreciate them here at Fox Run. All right, bye guys.